the New York Knicks delivered one of the most spectacular comebacks in Madison Square Garden history on Christmas Day, orchestrating a stunning rally from a 17-point fourth-quarter deficit to defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers 126-124. This remarkable victory marked the franchise's third consecutive Christmas Day triumph and showcased the championship-level depth that has been quietly developing throughout the season. The Knicks found themselves trailing 103-86 with just under 10 minutes remaining in regulation, appearing destined for a disappointing holiday defeat against a desperate Cleveland squad fighting to establish themselves in the Eastern Conference playoff race. The situation grew even more dire when Josh Hart, the team's emotional catalyst and energy provider, departed the game early in the fourth quarter after rolling his ankle on a drive to the basket. However, what followed was a breathtaking display of resilience and championship resolve as New York unleashed a blistering 40-21 run over the final 10-plus minutes fueled by unlikely heroes and veteran composure that sent the Garden crowd into absolute pandemonium. At the center of this Christmas miracle stood Tyler Kolek, a second-year guard who delivered the performance of his young career on the NBA's biggest regular season stage. The former Marquette standout finished with 16 points and 9 assists, posting a remarkable +24 rating in just 25 minutes off the bench. Kolek connected on 4 of his 5 three-point attempts and orchestrated the offense with the poise and decision-making of a 10-year veteran during New York's frantic comeback attempt. The defining moment of his breakout afternoon arrived with 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining on the clock when Kolek blocked Donovan Mitchell's drive to the basket, a call that was initially ruled a foul before being dramatically overturned upon review. Madison Square Garden erupted with thunderous Kolek chants, a rare honor for a backup guard making his statement game on the sport's grandest holiday stage. What makes Kolek's emergence so critical for the Knicks is both the timing and the context of his recent performances. With Miles McBride sidelined due to an ankle injury that has kept him out of action for several weeks, the team desperately needed someone to step into expanded minutes alongside Jalen Brunson and provide reliable playmaking and defensive intensity. Kolek has answered that call emphatically over the past 2 weeks, transforming himself from a fringe rotation piece into a legitimate weapon who thrives in high-pressure moments and elevates his teammates' performance. His ability to push the pace in transition, make the right read in pick-and-roll situations, and defend with maximum effort on every possession has given head coach Mike Brown the confidence to deploy him in crucial fourth-quarter situations against elite competition. The Christmas Day performance was not an isolated incident, but rather the culmination of a recent stretch where Kolek has consistently demonstrated his readiness for meaningful minutes. Just days earlier against the Minnesota Timberwolves, Kolek posted his first career start and nearly recorded a triple-double with 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists, proving he could handle the pressure of replacing Brunson in the starting lineup. His basketball IQ and feel for the game have been evident since his college days, but seeing him translate those skills to the NBA level against playoff-caliber opponents validates the front office's decision to select him in the draft. Kolek's emergence could not have come at a better time for a Knicks team that had been exploring the trade market for a backup point guard to provide insurance behind Brunson. His recent play might eliminate that need entirely, allowing the front office to deploy their limited trade assets elsewhere to address other roster needs. Jordan Clarkson and Mitchell Robinson provided the essential supporting cast that championship-caliber teams require when their stars are struggling to find rhythm early in games. Clarkson, the former 6th Man of the Year who spent time with Cleveland earlier in his career, exploded for 25 points on 5 three-pointers, including 11 crucial second-quarter points that kept New York within striking distance when the offense was sputtering. His instant offense capabilities off the bench give the Knicks a legitimate go-to scorer in their second unit who can create his own shot and provide floor spacing that opens driving lanes for others. More impressively, Clarkson played with defensive intensity and activity that matched the urgency of the moment, recording 2 steals while disrupting Cleveland's offensive rhythm with active hands and smart rotations. Robinson, the defensive anchor and rebounding specialist, dominated the glass despite his limited offensive role, pulling down 13 boards including several crucial offensive rebounds that extended possessions during the comeback run. His ability to alter shots at the rim without committing fouls and crash the offensive glass with reckless abandon provides the Knicks with an edge that few teams can match in terms of second-chance opportunities and defensive versatility. The combination of Clarkson's scoring punch, Robinson's defensive presence, and Kolek's playmaking gives New York a bench mob that can compete with any second unit in the league, and even hold their own against opposing starters. Jalen Brunson ultimately sealed the comeback with his customary clutch performance, finishing with 34 points, including the go-ahead three-pointer with 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining that sent the Madison Square Garden faithful into delirium. Brunson's ability to remain calm under pressure and deliver in crunch time is well documented. But this performance was particularly impressive given the deficit the team faced and the adversity of losing Hart to injury. He finished 6 of 12 from beyond the arc and 8 of 10 from the free throw line, showcasing the efficiency and shot selection that has made him one of the league's premier clutch performers. Karl Anthony Towns struggled against Cleveland's Twin Tower lineup for much of the afternoon, managing just 11 points on the night, but he came through with a crucial putback basket late in the fourth quarter that helped seal the victory and demonstrated the value of his offensive rebounding despite his shooting struggles. The Knicks shot an impressive 21 of 44 from three-point range on the afternoon, with multiple players stepping up to knock down big shots when the team needed them most, exemplifying the depth and versatility that makes this roster so dangerous. The Cavaliers' collapse exposed alarming weaknesses for a team harboring championship aspirations, despite their recent struggles to maintain consistency. Cleveland shot a blistering 52% from the field and 44% from three-point range in the first half, yet couldn't close out a game they controlled for 38 of the 48 minutes. Donovan Mitchell delivered a spectacular performance with 34 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists, going shot for shot with Brunson throughout the afternoon and giving the Cavaliers every opportunity to secure the victory. Darius Garland added 20 points and 10 assists, orchestrating the offense with precision and pushing the pace in transition to generate easy baskets for his teammates. However, the supporting cast vanished when it mattered most, failing to provide the secondary scoring and defensive intensity needed to withstand New York's furious rally. The Cavaliers' inability to protect leads and close out tight games has become a disturbing pattern this season, raising serious questions about their mental toughness and execution in crunch time situations. For a team that entered the season with legitimate Eastern Conference championship aspirations, these fourth-quarter collapses represent a fundamental flaw that must be addressed before the playoffs arrive. The Knicks improved to 21-9 with the victory and remain firmly entrenched as the second seed in the Eastern Conference, while Cleveland fell to 17-15 and continued their recent slide that has seen them lose 6 of their last 10 games heading into the new year. The New York Knicks are openly exploring trade scenarios involving forward Guerschon Yabusele ahead of the February 5th trade deadline, according to multiple league sources with knowledge of the front office's thinking. The 30-year-old French big man was New York's most significant free agency acquisition over the summer, signed to bolster the front court depth behind Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson with his versatility and three-point shooting ability. However, Yabusele has struggled mightily to find his footing in the first 2 months of the season, averaging just 3 points and 2.2 rebounds in 9.6 minutes per night, while shooting a concerning 39.4% from the field and 30.6% from beyond the arc. His numbers across the board have declined sharply from what he posted with the Philadelphia 76ers last season, when he returned to the NBA after spending 5 years playing professional basketball in Europe. The disappointing performance has prompted the Knicks front office to begin reaching out to rival organizations to gauge the trade market for the veteran forward, though early indications suggest finding a willing trade partner will be challenging given his contract situation and recent struggles on the court. Yabusele is earning $5.5 million this season and holds a $5.7 million player option for the 2026 to 2027 campaign, creating a 2-year financial commitment that multiple league executives believe will require the Knicks to attach additional assets to facilitate any potential trade. The player option is particularly problematic because it gives Yabusele control over whether he returns for a second season, creating uncertainty for any team that might consider acquiring him. Several front office executives who spoke on condition of anonymity indicated that New York will likely have to include draft picks or young prospects to entice another organization to take on Yabusele's contract, effectively turning him into salary ballast rather than a legitimate trade asset with standalone value. This represents a stunning fall from grace for a player who generated significant buzz during the Paris Olympics with his fearless play and highlight reel dunk over LeBron James that went viral across social media platforms and raised his profile entering free agency. The Knicks have been actively reaching out to rival teams in their ongoing search for another ball handler and front court player who can provide meaningful minutes in the rotation, according to league sources with direct knowledge of the team's trade discussions. The organization does not currently have a veteran lead guard in place who can play dependable minutes when Jalen Brunson rests, creating a vulnerability that opposing teams have occasionally exploited throughout the season. Tyler Kolek has shown tremendous promise over the past 2 weeks, particularly during his breakout performance on Christmas Day when he posted 16 points and 9 assists in the comeback victory over Cleveland, but there remains no guarantee he is ready to consistently fill that backup point guard role against playoff-caliber competition night after night. The front office wants to see more from Kolek before committing to him as the primary backup behind Brunson for a championship run, though his recent play has certainly strengthened his case for maintaining that role moving forward into the second half of the season. New York is also actively searching for another big man to provide frontcourt depth, as the current rotation options behind Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson remain limited and potentially problematic if injuries strike during the playoff push. Robinson is enjoying another outstanding rebounding campaign, pulling down 8.6 boards per game in 18.2 minutes per night, and serving as the team's primary rim protector when Towns needs a breather. However, Robinson remains on a load management program designed to keep him fresh and healthy for the postseason, as the medical staff hopes to avoid the injury issues that have plagued him throughout his professional career and limited his availability in crucial moments. The Knicks simply cannot afford to weather a long-term absence from Robinson given their championship aspirations, making the acquisition of a reliable third center a high priority as the deadline approaches in early February. The Knicks face significant financial limitations as they survey the trade landscape because of their dangerous proximity to the second apron of the luxury tax, which severely restricts their ability to take back salary in any potential transactions. The organization has been carrying 14 players on standard contracts throughout the entire season and cannot fill their final roster opening until early April, further complicating their ability to add players through trades or the buyout market. With these considerable restrictions in mind, league insiders have identified several potential trade candidates who could theoretically make sense for New York if the financial mathematics can be worked out to satisfy the league's salary matching requirements. Chicago Bulls guard Ayo Dosunmu would provide valuable ball handling skills and defensive versatility, but his $7.5 million salary means the Knicks would have to send back Landry Shamet at $2.3 million, who was productive before suffering a shoulder injury that has sidelined him indefinitely, or possibly Pacomi Dadiet at $2.9 million, or Tyler Kolek at $2.2 million, along with either Yabusele or Miles McBride at $4.3 million to make the money work. League executives remain skeptical about Chicago's willingness to absorb Yabusele's contract as part of any deal, meaning McBride would almost certainly have to be included in the package, which represents a steep price for a team trying to add depth rather than sacrifice proven rotation players. New Orleans Pelicans guard Jose Alvarado represents what some league insiders consider a more obtainable target than Dosunmu. With his $4.5 million salary and $4.5 million player option for next season, creating a more manageable contract to fit onto the Knicks roster without dismantling key pieces. Alvarado has established himself as one of the league's most tenacious perimeter defenders and provides the type of gritty, competitive spirit that resonates with New York fans and coaches alike. The Knicks possess multiple second-round draft picks that could be deployed to entice the rebuilding Pelicans to part with Alvarado, who likely has limited long-term value for an organization clearly focused on developing young talent and accumulating future assets rather than competing for playoffs this season. Washington Wizards forward Marvin Bagley III has also emerged as a potential target given his recent scoring and rebounding production for one of the league's worst teams. His defense remains questionable at best, but Bagley's $2.2 million cap hit makes him an extremely affordable option as a third center who can provide energy and offensive rebounding when called upon in limited minutes. League sources believe he might be obtainable for a single second-round pick, given Washington's clear direction toward a full rebuild and their desire to create playing time and development opportunities for younger prospects on the roster. The situation with Yabusele represents another in a long line of questionable roster-building decisions by the Knicks front office when it comes to filling out the margins of the rotation with productive veterans. Head coach Mike Brown's high-octane offensive system and switching defensive schemes have exposed Yabusele's lack of foot speed and defensive awareness on virtually every possession, making him an easy target for opposing offenses to attack in pick-and-roll situations whenever he checks into games. The transition from Philadelphia's more deliberate half-court system to New York's frenetic pace has proven too challenging for Yabusele to navigate successfully, resulting in his rapid fall out of the rotation and into basketball purgatory. The front office now finds itself in the uncomfortable position of having to attach assets to move a player they signed just months ago, with considerable fanfare and expectations highlighting the importance of thorough evaluation and due diligence before committing multi-year money to role players in free agency. As the trade deadline approaches in early February, expect the Knicks to continue exploring all available options to upgrade their depth and address the Yabusele situation, though finding a palatable solution that improves the roster without sacrificing valuable rotation players or future draft capital will prove extremely challenging given the financial constraints and limited trade assets at their disposal.